family, it's hard to put the brakes on it. We doubled down, Charli D'Amelio and the first family of TikTok. The 16-year-old's dance clips used to embarrass big sister Dixie. A year and 60 meters followers later, even their parents are getting in on the act. Tom Lamont said June 6, 2020 07.00 Share on Facebook, share on Twitter, share via email. Most modern teenagers have a discreet, thumb-to-side corner of their smartphones where they stash away the apps they are most ashamed of using. In 2018, this was where a 17-year-old U.S. high school student called Dixie D'Amelio kept an odd little social media app called TikTok. From what Dixie could make of it, TikTok expected users to record and post ultra-short, ultra-energetic videos of themselves that were soundtracked with pre-made audio clips, songs, snatches of dialogue. Users danced to these clips or lip-synced along. They copied each other's moves and riffed on references and in jokes that were starting to slosh around TikTok's expanding global network. More and more, Dixie enjoyed scrolling through the endless feed of hectic TikTok videos, but in private. She was a TikTok lurker and would never have dreamed of posting anything herself because, as she puts it, people at school made fun of TikTok. It was looked down on. Embarrassing. When she found out that her younger sister Charli, a talented dancer, had started posting videos on the app, Dixie was horrified. It would surely mean social death. I was, like, Charli, dude, what are you doing? Today, in the spring of 2020, TikTok has about 800 million active users around the world. ByteDance, the Beijing-based startup that created the app, was valued at around $75 billion in 2018 and is now thought to be worth close to $100 billion. TikTok has made global superstars of its most popular users, and when Dixie and Charli D'Amelio talk to me over video from their home in Connecticut, it is in their capacity as unquestioned TikTok royalty. They have 83 million followers between them, these sister queens of the app who, along with parents Mark and Heidi D'Amelio, now form TikTok's first family. TikTok's strategy of appealing to Gen Z's need for release, somewhere for them to not be insta-perfect, was working. How did Dixie go from being a TikTok refusenik to one of its best-known faces? How did a Chinese app step in from the fringes to take such an awesome bite out of a social media market traditionally dominated by powerhouse Americans, Facebook, Twitter? Dixie and Charli tell me their half of the story from their bedroom, speaking over each other in that fluent, seamless way of close siblings. They both have shoulder-length brown hair, freckles and the reedy physicality of young athletes. Dixie is a former nationally ranked BMX racer and school track athlete. Charli started dance training forever ago, having not so long ago rolled out of bed. The D'Amelios were the blurry expressions of just woken teens who will shortly need to go and forage for snacks. They paint their nails while we talk. I remember Dixie was so embarrassed to have a sister on TikTok, Charli says. And then in May 2019, I guess that was a year ago, all my friends started making TikToks. They asked me for help copying some of the dances. They said, "Oh, you've got to teach us." And I said, "I don't want to, it's weird, I don't even have my own account." But then I started making videos and I guess I started having a lot of fun? Dixie interrupts. Do you remember when people first started recognizing you? They would say, "Where do I know you from?" And you would say, "I would say social media," Charli says. Because I was embarrassed to say TikTok. Charli and Dixie D'Amelio. Charli, right, and Dixie D'Amelio. Photograph, Christopher Lane, The Guardian. At the time, the app was attempting a delicate maneuver, trying to position itself as a place for teens and tweens to come to be silly, unashamed, unfiltered, a tonic to the earnestness of Instagram, the stress of Snapchat, the verbal warfare of Twitter. The app had been around in some form or another for years, first gathering momentum in 2016 after Twitter closed down its short-form video service Vine, leaving a small but exploitable hole in the social market. In summer 2018, it merged with the US lip-syncing app Musical.ly, increasing its reach, and by the end of that year it had crept to the top of Apple's US app charts. TikTok's strategy of appealing to Gen Z's need for release, somewhere for them to not be insta-perfect, was working. It was adding tens of millions of new users every month. In January 2019, the influential technology blog TechCrunch published an editorial headlined "It's time to pay serious attention to TikTok," advice that Facebook and Twitter, now hurriedly preparing copycat products, had been uncharacteristically slow to heed. When ByteDance celebrated the new year by projecting its TikTok logo onto the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, it was a statement of arrival. Charli's perky, precise dance videos caught on in 2019 and grew in popularity as TikTok did. It hadn't exactly become cool in her friends' circle, Dixie explains, but few people would have thought of pretending they didn't use the app, or understand its references and in-jokes. TikTok culture had spilled over into the school corridors. What is that culture? You could think of it like YouTube: beauty how-tos, cartoony science experiments, impressive athletic feats, pets being cute, domestic accidents filmed by chance, monologues to camera, goofy lip syncs, breathless dances. Only on TikTok such videos have to be severely truncated in order to be uploaded. Users get 15 seconds to express themselves, and this brevity helps to create a staccato, no explanations, absurdist flavor to much of the content. Comedy skits benefit from the tight edit, for instance. If some of the monologues are over earnest, at least they don't run on too long. TikTok has made capsule celebrities of young magicians, fashion mavens, political campaigners. It has also elevated people to notoriety by accident, my favorite being a young woman known as the motherfucking T-Girl, after a rant of hers that went viral in 2019. We were out one night and noticed kids staring. We thought, there's no way they know Charli from that weird app. As a TikTok novice, I didn't fully grasp its peculiar culture until I started thinking of the app as if it were my old playground at school. When I was a kid in the 90s, everyone had seen the same TV shows, listened to the same songs, had heard about the same laugh-out-loud acts of cheek against the teachers. To listen in on our playground conversation as an outsider, Simpsons references, Britpop lyrics, hyperlocal gossip, would have been like hearing a gabbling alien language. But to be in the thick of it, getting it, was wonderful. So now I think of TikTok as one big secondary school playground, with 800 million people crammed in. All babbling, all getting it. Yes. Says Dixie, when I pitch her my comparison. It was more or less why she cracked and started posting videos herself, she explains. Every conversation was about TikTok. Oh my god, Charli has 100,000 followers. Oh my god, she has 200,000. I said, I'm done. If Charli hits 1 million followers, I'll start posting because I'm done being left out like this. Charli, she never thought I was gonna hit 1 million followers. Dixie, no. Charli, and then I hit 1 million. Dixie, yeah. This was October 2019. The D'Amelio family celebrated Charli's milestone with a cake and Dixie kept up her end of the agreement, popping up in Charli's videos and then shooting her own knockabout solo efforts, fooling around in the family home. Dixie's presence supercharged both sisters' popularity. By now, their parents had accounts of their own, initially to keep an eye on the girls, but soon with millions of curious followers of their own. We were kind of on autopilot as a family at the time, recalls Mark, who is 51 and works in sportswear. Dixie was about to go to college. She was driving Charli to school in the mornings. Me and Heidi were kind of looking at the finish line of parenting. Coasting, agrees Heidi, 48. And then we were out to dinner one night and we noticed kids at the other table staring. We both thought, there's no way they know Charli from that weird app. Before long, there were mobbings at the mall and at airports. Managers and marketers contacted the house, hoping the sisters would sign deals. Mark and Heidi first met in the 90s in New York, where Mark ran his sportswear business and Heidi was a model and personal trainer. They both had some experience at the crossover point of consumer and celebrity culture, but still, that their teenage daughters had become lucrative stars, in a matter of weeks and without leaving their bedrooms, was a bit of a surprise. Mark recalls, "We really thought we'd figured out how to have 2 kids. Then this was thrust on us. We had to regroup, huddle together as a family and figure out all this new stuff." Charli on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Charli on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Photograph, Getty Images. In November 2019, Charli was invited to go on holiday with a collective of young TikTokers based in Los Angeles, the Hype House, a kind of 21st century Mickey Mouse Club, and though the affiliation did not last, it was a move that helped nudge her further into the millions of followers. There were other, more random boosts to her popularity. Before Christmas, she copied a TikTok dance that was doing the rounds. The audio was the clip of a track by the rapper K Camp, and a lot of people gravitated to Charli's version. The video was watched more than 150 million times, mostly by users trying to copy and perfect the dance. The suburban high school girl, still 15, suddenly had the market reach of a Knowles Carter or a Kardashian. In early 2020, Charli was signed by the powerful Hollywood agency UTA, along with the rest of the D'Amelio family. By then, The Face magazine felt comfortable describing her as the Pina Bausch of TikTok. In February, Dixie joined the cast of a YouTube drama made by the tween production company Bratz, and, meanwhile, talks began about constructing a TV reality show around the entire family. In April, Charli was invited to dance for a national TV audience on The Jimmy Fallon Show, by which point she was the most followed person on TikTok's platform. As Heidi describes this period, things went crazy. It's worth pausing here to consider a question often asked in the comment threads under Charli's TikTok videos. Why her? What made this particular teenager's breezy, professionally dapper, but ultimately innocuous dance videos take off in such an enormous way? To properly understand a community and its whims, there's little point zeroing in on the gilded few who have risen to the top. They don't know. To understand Charli's mass appeal, I would need to speak to representatives of the masses, users who were stuck in the foothills of the app with tens or hundreds of followers and who nevertheless kept the network churning with content and comments and follows. Several of my teenage nieces and nephews are dogged TikTokers, and after a quick call out on the family WhatsApp group, I was able to assemble a brain trust of Charli obsessives who could answer any question about her. Why Charli, I ask. Niece number 1, she's funny. Upbeat. Nephew number 1, she's very smiley and positive. Niece number 2, a major thing with Charli is her age. The general TikTok audience is younger than on Facebook or Instagram, so the influencers need to be younger. Niece number 3, she's a good dancer. Niece number 2, whenever we want to learn a dance, we'll look for Charli's video because she's so good, we think of hers as the best version to copy. Nephew number 1, her having an older sister helps. They can do videos together. Niece number 1, they can do synchronized moves. Niece number 2, a lot of families across the world use TikTok and it's a bond people recognize. We're offered deals all the time that we turn down. Charli will not promote something she doesn't like. When I ask the D'Amelio family the same question, why them? Mark puts it down to luck. An app came along that prized a certain style of dancing, just this side of practiced, and a certain style of personality, just this side of sarcastic, and Charli and Dixie happened to fit the mold. They benefited from the lightning in a bottle effect, Mark says, of being relatable to a generation. Charli has long professed bafflement about her rise. TikTok, though noticeably